I will say that Bernie Sanders gave
You guys are crazy!
You're an animal! Get a job! To say something like that to myself and a lot of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line. Regular order, Mr. Way out of line. Regular order. That's okay, but it's okay, right?
That is not how it goes.
It's okay, right?
You hold yourself accountable before you talk about
Hold
Washington,
myself accountable. Hold your own self accountable. How about that? Hold your own self accountable. How about that?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Man, the second this clip started rolling, you could already feel the tension building. Today, we're watching Rashida Tlaib absolutely explode during a heated congressional hearing, throwing around words like fascist and even comparing people to the Third Reich. Then Byron Donalds steps in and completely flips the room upside down. This is the kind of political showdown people can't stop talking about. You've got one side running on outrage and emotional attacks, while the other side is pushing back with hard questions and demanding real answers. And I'm going to be honest, Byron Donalds came ready for battle here. A lot of Americans are exhausted by the constant accusations and non-stop attacks on the country, and Byron sounded like someone finally saying what millions are thinking. If you enjoy unfiltered political commentary and intense congressional moments like this, hit that like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and drop your opinion below. Whose argument made more sense to you? Stick around because after this clip, we're breaking down everything that just happened.
No, I think it's also really important to understand like the incredible kind of slanderous, like defamation, I don't know what to call it. They're just burying Washington, D.C. You just heard them speak about our nation's capital in that way, in a way that I feel very much like that's not what I see. I see people walking around with their families, people enjoying time to see these beautiful, incredible, beautiful monuments and everything. And there's a pride here too. And so I just want to bring the DC residents into this committee because I feel like they are being made invisible. And this really ugly picture that is not reflective. And I'm from Detroit. I've seen it happen to my city, and it's despicable in a way that I feel like really goes up against our values. You know, one of the things that I know in every abuse of power that we let President Trump and the administration get away with in D.C., it will be replicated. It will be expanded across the country, and it is going to tear apart our communities. You know, Mr. Jackson, I talked to you about a little bit about this, but I think it's important to understand that we do have a mental health crisis, that we have a housing crisis, affordability crisis. Can you police any of those away?
No.
You can't police away homelessness. And the way they talk about our homeless neighbors is so, no wonder there's violence increasing towards homeless neighbors. I see it already, the brutality of it. When we see housing costs go up, when we see, again, the lack or dismissiveness of the mental health crisis that we continue to grow. And it's not just this administration, and the previous administrations as well. No one has moved with the urgency that is needed. Just last week, the committee approved over a dozen bills regarding Washington, D.C. And, I'm just curious. Criminalize children. My colleague from Boston talked about this. It basically interfered with legislation already passed by the local government. Was anyone on this panel consulted? Any of you? Raise your hand if you were consulted on any of these bills. Yeah.
We were not.
One of the things that, AG, I've been listening to you. One of the bills actually eliminates your position completely. What effect would that have? Completely eliminating your position in regards to be able to do the job that you do to protecting all the families in Washington, D.C.
We'll start with the fact that more than 70% of the residents of the District of Columbia overwhelmingly voted for having an independent elected attorney general.
That's right.
And that's a recognition of the fact that when an attorney general is directly accountable to the people, directly responsive to the people, we are much better at doing our job in terms of addressing housing affordability and conditions in slumlords, seniors and consumers who are being scammed, addressing the issues that are most important to D.C. residents, because I am accountable to them.
I read wage theft is an issue, workplace discrimination. There's a number of issues that need to be addressed, and they're not going to address that. They want to paint you all as this ugly, dark, all just out in the street. The way it's just unbelievable because they all live here. I don't see it. I don't see what they see. I don't understand why we're allowing that to happen, because I actually think it's going to hurt our communities. People are going to look at Washington, D.C. folks in a way that I think is going to be very painful, but also, you know, I don't know, Mr. Jackson, I heard the stories. People didn't leave their homes. They weren't leaving their homes. Businesses didn't see people coming into, I mean, that's what we want in our nation's capital. Stay in your house. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. Stay fearful. It's unbelievable that my colleagues continue again to eject this narrative and this rhetoric in regards to it. But I think it's important, Mr. Chair, just like in D.C., home rule was won out of Black freedom struggle in the fight for civil rights, we can't be passive right now. So nobody over there should take anything we say like so personally, as if we're attacking them. No, we're attacking a process, not attacking people here. And I think it's really important. We need to stand up against this fascist takeover. That's not a bad word. It's a fact. And here in D.C. and across the country, it is so incredibly important, Mr. Chair, that this committee does not allow rhetoric that defames and or paints Washington, D.C. in a way that you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady yield?
No, I don't yield. I don't even have time. I can tell you.
Your time's expired.
It is expired, but Mr. Chair, but you all live
like
here, and you're not telling people the beautiful parts that you do see in our nation's capital. And no, it's just wrong how we're doing it.
Chairman, I think it's insane that the gentlelady doesn't have an argument, but she's going to refer to me and some of my colleagues.
Mr. Donalds,
we were from the Third Reich. This is insane.
You're going to look at 14, 15-year-olds as a bunch of criminals?
It's insane. Do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Ms. Tlaib? Is that what I look like to you?
You're the one taking your voting card.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane. And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and a lot of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Regular order.
That's okay. But it's okay, right?
That is not how it goes.
It's okay, right?
You hold yourself accountable before you talk about
Hold myself accountable. Hold your own self accountable. How about that? Hold your own self accountable. How about that? Thank you, Chairman. This is my third term on the Oversight Committee. We've been talking about illegal immigration and oversight the entire time. I remember we had a group of this committee that went down to the El Paso section of the border. This was back in February, March of 2021. And during that time period, we were at one of the holding centers, and there were these buses that were coming to the detention facility, and they were picking up 30 kids, 50 kids. At random, walking out of the facility. And when I went over to question the bus driver that was transporting these kids, border agents told me, as a member of Congress, that you're not allowed to question the bus driver. And of course, people knowing me, I didn't take no for an answer, and I repeated the question. And I was told that this bus of children was leaving El Paso and going to San Diego. And so what was occurring under the Biden administration is that they were busing unaccompanied minors all across the United States for one reason and one reason only. And that was because they did not want the press to see the pictures of kids in cages. They did not want to see our borders being overrun. They wanted to disperse that problem all through the United States. That is the reckless history of illegal immigration under Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. Mayor Johnston of Denver, yes, you lamented earlier that there were 10 to 11 buses coming per day to your city. Did you ever talk to Joe Biden about why this was happening to your community?
Thank you, Congressman. I both reached out to Governor Abbott from Texas. He didn't respond, and I did.
Why would you reach out to Governor Abbott of Texas when it is Joe Biden, the former commander-in-chief, that opened up our borders? Why didn't you talk to him?
Well, our buses directly were being sent from Governor Abbott in Texas, so that was why we reached out to say we're happy to collaborate on a coordinated entry system. We understand no one state or no one city should bear the entire brunt of this, but let's collaborate. But I did.
So I'm glad you said that, because that brings me to my next point. Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, when they started moving illegal aliens out of their states who were bearing the brunt of what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were doing, and they've sent them to Denver, they sent them to Chicago, they sent them to New York, they sent them to Martha's Vineyard. The reason why they did that is because you four could hide behind the realities of illegal immigration on border towns all through our country and on cities and states who did not want to see illegal immigration, but did not have the political representation to go to the White House. And only when it showed up on your doorstep did you get upset. Mayor Johnston, coming back to you, how much did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around $79 million since 2022.
$79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone...
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you?
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
Mayor
the same
Adams,
number that
how
was
much did the
sent from
city
us
of New
from
York
the
actually
state
spend
of
on
Texas.
illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already asked you. You don't have a hard number. And if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers' dollars.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about
we
how
don't
much
have
money
that
the city
number.
of Boston has spent on illegal immigration?
We
Are you
don't
out of your
distinguish
mind?
between immigration status.
Do you
as
manage
part
your
of our
budget
city
or not,
policies.
Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage your budget or
We have the
not?
numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of Boston,
budget.
just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
The city of Boston
the city of
is
Boston.
sick of having
I'm reclaiming
people
my
outside
time.
Boston
Mr.
telling
Bear,
us what
Mr.
we
Bear, I have a
need.
question for you because I understand Cato's perspective when it comes to illegal immigration. I understand that the Cato Institute for a long time has had a standard of actually having open immigration into the United States. Generally speaking, I don't want to get into specifics.
We support legal immigration. We want immigration to be legal.
All right, I just finished watching that entire exchange, and wow, Byron Donalds absolutely took control of that hearing. What we saw was a perfect example of how to push back against extreme rhetoric without backing down. Rashida Tlaib came into that room throwing out dramatic claims, talking about Washington, D.C. like it's collapsing, bringing up housing struggles and mental health problems, and then suddenly turning the conversation into accusations that Republicans are somehow connected to fascism and the Third Reich. That crossed a serious line. That's not productive debate anymore. That's reckless language designed to divide people. Byron Donalds immediately challenged her on it, asking directly if she seriously believed he looked like someone connected to that kind of evil ideology. And when she kept pushing the narrative, he called it exactly what it was: completely inappropriate and dangerous rhetoric. You could hear the frustration because these kinds of accusations damage the country and poison public discussion. What stood out to me was how Byron kept steering the conversation back toward real-world issues instead of emotional grandstanding. Later in the hearing, he started questioning city leaders about the massive financial burden tied to sanctuary city policies. We're talking billions of taxpayer dollars being spent in places like New York and Chicago because of the border crisis and failed immigration policies from previous leadership. Byron kept asking direct, simple questions about the costs, and you could see officials struggling to avoid giving clear answers because the facts are uncomfortable. That's what leadership looks like, asking tough questions and demanding accountability from the people in charge. He also made a powerful point about how these policies don't just exist on paper. They affect everyday neighborhoods, public safety, and the cost of living for ordinary Americans. For years, certain politicians ignored the consequences until those problems started impacting major blue cities directly. Byron Donalds wasn't interested in slogans or emotional speeches. He focused on reality, numbers, and the effect these decisions have on working families. That's why so many people are connecting with him. He comes across as someone focused on order, responsibility, and protecting citizens instead of chasing viral moments. And let's be honest, Byron Donalds has become one of the strongest conservative voices in Congress because he speaks in a way that resonates with regular Americans. He talks about failing cities, economic pressure, rising crime, and government accountability without hiding behind identity politics. He's pointing out mistakes that many voters feel politicians ignored for years. This hearing showed exactly why public opinion is shifting in so many places. People are tired of chaos. They want safety, stability, and leaders willing to speak directly about problems instead of pretending everything is fine. By the end of this exchange, Rashida Tlaib's arguments started looking more emotional than factual, while Byron Donalds stayed focused on consequences, taxpayer costs, and public safety concerns. Whether you agree with him or not, he clearly controlled the conversation and forced serious issues into the spotlight. So now I want to hear from you guys. Did Byron Donalds go too far, or was this exactly the kind of response Congress needs right now? And should lawmakers face stricter consequences for using inflammatory language during hearings? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I read them all. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more political reactions and breakdowns, turn on notifications, and share this with anyone who follows heated congressional debates. Thanks for watching, stay informed, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.